Welcome back to AJ Talks. Now we're joined by another eminent personality who is well known in AJ for his youthful spirit and charisma. A huge sports and fitness enthusiast, there's no one better to have with us today to grace this event. I take this honor and to welcome Mr. Arshad Sherief, Chairman of AJ Group of Schools. Thank you for joining us today.
Health and fitness through sports. So, we have heard this many times and become close associate with people you are, with the person you are. Being a huge health and fitness enthusiast yourself, what is your philosophy of fitness and its relationship to your daily life?
Well, philosophy of fitness, you mean? It's something that goes with our religion, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this body and we are supposed to take care of it. It's an obligation, and it is said in the Quran that this body doesn't belong to us, it belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's a duty of every individual to look after one's own self, because we all believe, and I personally believe, the one who cannot look after himself will not be able to look after others. I think you all share that with me. So first we have to be fit ourselves, then only we can look after others. That's my philosophy.
Indeed, sir. At times, your enthusiasm and vibrancy in the playground has made us all spellbound. The cricket tournaments, badminton tournaments, and across the table tennis board, you've most of the time put us to shame with your youthful sportsmanship spirit. In this busy schedule of your day, you still find room for fun and fitness. What has been the driving force behind this commitment to sports?
Well, I would say that I have been blessed to be in a family who has had passion towards sports, starting from my father, who represented India in football, and he has been an international football player. That I got the inspiration from him, and I went into all sports to a fairly good extent, having represented my state in basketball, badminton and table tennis. Also a few games in football too. So it has sort of inheritance from my father, and my passion has begun from that time. For me, all my life, my best enjoyment in life has been through sports. If I look back at all this fun and enjoyment I have had when I represented my state level during my college days, right from those days, and later on when I was an engineer in Karnataka University Board, when I represented my state team and toured all over India in different tournaments, that has been my best part of my life. So that motivation I carried forward when I came here, and I keep telling people that age should not be the criteria. I mean, as long as you can manage, you should be able to try to play games. And at this point of time in my life, at this advanced age, my purpose is to pass on what I have achieved, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed me, that passion in games, which has kept me so healthy. I want to pass it on to my students, my children, my fellow colleagues. And I would say that I participate even today just to inspire others, not because to win any laurels anymore. I have had enough of that. I do it only to inspire others and to know how much mileage is still left in me. I get along. And one thing I believe, in sports we are all one. In school, there's no chairman, there's no driver, there's no support staff, we are all one members of team. That kind of culture, that has to be seen while you play games, to understand the importance of unity and in diversity and the tolerance, all these things you achieve only through sports. And I have been lucky to be in this situation, alhamdulillah.
So, what is health and fitness to you? Is it just being physically fit and strong, or does it have a room for mental health, a very important ingredient for a healthy life?
This question is better answered by a doctor. If you ask any doctor, which of course I'm answering that too. It has a direct linkage, as Brother Hamis mentioned just now. Your physical health has direct bearing towards mental health. When you are physically fit, you are mentally fit too. You can focus well, you can sleep well. When you have a tiresome game on a day, you have a great sleep. And nowadays people are suffering from lack of sleep due to stress. The world is full of stress these days. But if you keep on thinking about your problems, you cannot solve your problems. When you play sports, your mental health, you have a nice sleep, and next day you are fresh to do things better. And contentment, there is a saying, contentment is the real wealth. Luxury is an artificial poverty. I hope you understand this. Contentment is a real wealth. And luxury, what we all do, is an artificial kind of poverty. So we have to be content in life, and the best way is to be fit and healthy, try to be healthy.
Sir, this grand fiesta has been a brainchild of yours. How challenging has it been to plan this event so well?
Well, any such event cannot be achieved by one person or one group of people. I am blessed, Alhamdulillah. I have some wonderful people in our school, amazing people who take up any challenge. And what you see today is not an ordinary thing, it's not an ordinary event. Even though in a limited space you see thousands of people coming in and enjoying. And I believe that you don't need big areas to enjoy. All you need is that will to do things. Like when we play cricket here with our staff, we don't play in a big ground. It's a small area, but we have so much fun. I call it confined area cricket, and still we enjoy. In a limited space, we have football ground, we have organized team for 5-a-side football. And we all staff members play, and for students we organize tournaments in this limited space. And in the limited space we have in our school, you are seeing thousands of parents coming and taking part. Your question was how we achieved this thing. It's because of the teamwork and the great people who we have, extremely committed and extremely dedicated and passionate staff we have, who just give them the theme and the initiative, they will execute it to perfection, Alhamdulillah. It has been seen over and over again, and I attribute it totally to the teamwork. The captain of a match, whether it's football or cricket, cannot single-handedly take credit. It's a teamwork. So I'm honored and blessed. I always thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who have given such wonderful people who are there to support for any initiative we take in the schools. That's it.
So before we go to the last question, a question has been bugging me not for days but for months. Since the adolescents have sculptured a perfect mask for the sole reason to get accepted by society, but the consequences of that is that they go in depression and social anxiety. So what advice would you give it to the new generation who is watching this video?
Well, everyone cannot achieve the dreams what one aspires for, or the parents aspire for in any area what they think of achieving. As I mentioned in my speech, you have to give your 100% for whatever you can, and if you are able to achieve, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you to achieve. But in case you are not able to, you have to be content with what we have. As I mentioned, contentment is the real wealth. And unless you are content, people will be simply stressed out. Anyone, whether it's a person, you have to be content in 3 areas and be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One is in your health. Always compare yourself to someone who is worse than you. Even a person is suffering from some major problem, he will go into depression and start thinking, why me? Why am I suffering from this? But he has to see someone who is worse than him, who may be struggling in the hospitals, then you will start thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah has at least given him, at least he is able to walk around compared to others. Same thing goes in wealth too. If one starts comparing why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me this kind of life as compared to people who are enjoying life, who are much richer, there is no end to it. You should be content with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given. Always compare yourself to someone much lower than you, who are much more in poverty, then you will start thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Lastly, you have to always don't compare about your position, what the society has given, your status, because there are people, earning respect is not easy. But you have to be content with what you achieved, because there are people who may not be in the same status as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given, for which you have to earn. So my advice to everyone is to be content and don't compare people. Comparison should be for the better. To improve yourself you can compare, but not looking at others and sort of being prejudiced or negativity. Be positive in life and be content in life. That's what I advise everyone to be, inshallah. Thank you.
So moving on to the last question. This year UAE has dedicated to the Year of Tolerance. And of course, sports and games have always transcended itself as a moving force to many noble causes. So when you were planning this event, did you have any kind of thought in mind as to give a wider reach to tolerance through sports?
Well, I mentioned briefly that this word tolerance is a very, very vast subject, very difficult to design, what should I say? How do you define what is tolerance? It's a very, very difficult question. Tolerance is trying to understand others, look at anything in life from others' point of view. Put yourself in the place of other. In any act you do, whether it be interaction with a person, whether in dealings with person, business dealings, or any kind of argument, put yourself in others' mind, position, and you will realize how you have to be tolerant to help the society move forward. What we see in the world these days is something which was never there in our days. People have become intolerant, people have become aggressive. There are so many factors to it. One factor I would say is this social media and this media and these stupid, sorry to use the word, stupid games which are ruining our children. Every single video game, what you see, has violence in it. Killing, shooting, and then these WWW kind of things. They are brainwashing our children now, our minds, polluting our minds. And where is tolerance? As a child reacts to another person trying to do what he saw in a video game. He tries to punch the other person with the slightest thing. There have been murders committed on the road when there is a small argument in traffic. I have read in the newspaper, in India maybe. People have gone to the extent of murdering someone because of egoistic arguments. No tolerance in this thing. And there is no religious tolerance. What people eat, what people do, the world has become. So I appreciate the efforts of this great country who has such a great farsightedness, and you can't educate people who have already reached that level of intolerance. The education has to begin from the grassroots, the young children. I foresee with these initiatives of these rulers of this country, which have made this a role model by having a ministry of tolerance and announcing Year of Tolerance, where the generation, new generation, the children, when they are moving forward, they will create a different world. That's what I foresee in terms of tolerance, in terms of human coexistence, in terms of understanding, in terms of health and sports. Whatever this country is, even the moral education, what the country is asking the children to learn, schools is one platform where these things have to be imbibed among the students, inspired and educated, apart from the classroom. I have at least hope for a much better future. These young children, with these kind of education they are going through, they will create a different world, a more peaceful world and more tolerant world, inshallah, in the future. That's my message.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts with AJ Talks. You will remain an inspiration to be followed by the youth of today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Wish you all the best. May you all succeed in your dreams, and thanks for this initial interview. Jazakallah khair.